It's you liberals who have lifted them up, Howard.
Paul, you conservatives make a mistake. You can't afford to strangle hope in people. Without hope, people become dangerous.
No, Howard. You liberals have let them invade our society. You give them jobs, political jobs.
Paul, you missed the point. It's only the smart ones we move up.
That makes it even worse.
No, we have to move them up. If we leave a smart one in the ghetto, he might develop into a leader against us. But if we raise him up into white society, we neutralize him. He feels compelled to try to act like us. He loses his identity and his racial anger, if he has any. He becomes alien to his brothers. They realize he sold them out, and they grow to hate him. He becomes worthless to them and safe for us. No, thank you. In fact, in his love for the creature comforts, except for his color, he's become one of us.
All the way live here at WHBR Memorial Day. Happy Memorial Day to all of you. And thank you for tuning in. The BD was sharing something with me this morning that today is the 100th birthday for John F. Kennedy. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Theo Broughton, co-founder of Hood Research and
the BD, and we welcome you to the program.
And thank you so much for helping to sponsor this program. And for those of you who are considering assistance, please make your check or money order out to Hood Research, or if you prefer, to WHBR Broadcasting Company. We don't have any objection to that. But we do ask that you mail it to Hood Research at P.O. Box 4416, Detroit, Michigan 48204. Again, that's Hood Research, P.O. Box 4416, Detroit, Michigan 48204. I want to say good morning to all of you who are tuned in, and to Vera and Ron and Barbara, and to Jay, and to Les and Sam, and to all of the ones. There were so many people that we came across this past weekend as well. And it's good to know that there are so many who are concerned about their community and come out to the various events to show their support. Who did you come across?
Sister Jackie, I had a chance to see her this weekend. And Brother Shane, her son, both of them are very, that's one thing I like. The activism runs in the bloodline. And that's a beautiful thing, because a lot of times we don't pass it on to the generation that's coming behind us. So, and Brother Shane is very knowledgeable, along with Ruth Ann, Sheila R., Cheryl D., Brother Smith Bay, Brother Fred, also Brother Errol Griffin. We wishing Dee Dee well in her recovery. It's just so many wonderful people, and I always ask you all to have friends, family, neighbors, co-workers to tune in and have your pen and paper handy for information you may want to record.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I got to say good morning to Sandra, too. I saw her over the weekend as well. We have with us this morning Roy McAllister, and I want to thank you so much for being with us. He is a candidate for the 2nd District for Detroit City Council. And there are just so many things to talk about. And folks are getting ready to go north to Mackinac.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning, and thank you so much. Thank you both so much for allowing me to be on. I want to say happy Veterans Day to all the veterans, and happy Veterans Day and blessings to all the veteran families who have lost veterans on this Memorial Day. Yes, they are heading up to the Mackinac to see how they're going to dismantle and disrupt Detroit. So that's what that is all about.
Something I came across a few days ago, House bill, seems like it was 1152. This is on a federal level. And they are considering, listen to this, they are considering lifting up the black community for all that we have contributed to this country. So I guess we're supposed to get excited. And is that supposed to be reparations?
Yeah, we need some details. What is this lifting up entail, and who will or will not be included or excluded?
Mm-hmm.
I think you hit the main point is who will be and who will not be included when you have a plan like that. And uplifting can be uplifting in several different meanings too also. So, again, I agree with you. We have to look at the details of what's going on with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's rare that they're comprehensive and inclusive, and then with the administration and the body politic there in Washington being the Senate and the House, who knows? Because I don't think we have too many friends there personally.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's always the what's on the face of it, but what's the underlining that we have to be concerned about in such bills.
And wasn't there a posting that Memorial Day was created by African Americans?
Yes, now, I wasn't able, I have to say this because Theo and I were talking about this on the way in. We come up with a good idea and somebody takes it and claims it as their own. So Memorial Day was another thing like that. This was, I believe, right after the Civil War. The people in one of the Carolinas, but I believe it was the South Carolina, they were honoring the men who had served in the Civil War. And so there was a fort in South Carolina where this is where their first gathering was at. And then again, lo and behold, the U.S. government said, hey, that's a good idea. We need to use this for ourselves. And so now when you Google Memorial Day, it won't say, you have to really dig deep because it won't say anything about how we initiated the idea and then how it became such a popular idea that it became nationalized. And I believe 1971 is when they made it an official holiday, the fourth Monday of every May.
Well,
Jeez. The toy train is up and running. Did you know it goes 7 miles an hour?
I passed it. I could have passed it walking, to tell you the truth, because I've gone along with it since then.
What gets me about that is why they keep extending the free ridership. That's what I can't understand. I mean, it was supposed to have been something that was supposed to be helping commute, because we all know who was helping to commute, the folks downtown to get from the boulevard to the river. But I can't understand why they continue to have this free riding when you should have availability for the people that live in that community, and that's still not taken in consideration.
So how long has it been extended now?
It was extended a couple weeks after the initial, I guess, free ridership. Then they said, well, it was doing so well that we thought we extended another week. Then it was another week, and it's like, I still don't understand the method in that madness.
Whoa.
Yeah, supposedly to encourage ridership and get people familiar with it. But from what I've heard, the people that it's designed for usually get off right around the Detroit Institute of Arts, so they don't even take it as far as Grand Boulevard where the neighborhood changes somewhat.
Right.
So they say only the people who would be going to sports venues would probably be using it. But the average citizen, Joe citizen, has no issue in it or interest in it at all.
Right.
Oh, wow.
Right.
Okay.
Or involvement for that measure. Yeah. So all these things, and I'm pretty sure they'll be up at Mackinac trying to figure out how, the Q line is probably going to come up and how they can manipulate it even more so. So it's just a thing.
Well, it's the reason why I don't support the RTA, because those who have financed this free toy train want to shift the burden of expense off to the taxpayers, and we really never should have had that.
You got a couple of callers.
Oh,
wanna join
sure.
us. Hello, caller. You're on the air. Would you share your name and how you're viewing us, please?
Yeah, good morning. This is Vera, and I'm looking at your Comcast 91.
Well, happy
Good morning.
Monday.
Yes. My question is, was there any talk about taking away the Woodward line? I mean, I heard something about that they were going to take away the Woodward line. But if they do that, this toy train, as you call it, doesn't go any further than the boulevard. What about the people who go out to 8 Mile on the bus?
Well, that's an excellent question to ask at the candidate forums. If any of the sitting council members are aware of that, that's an excellent question for them.
Vera, one of the things I heard in the early parts of this was that not only did they want to remove the Woodward line, but they also wanted to remove all vehicles where the Q line would be the only mode of transportation up and down Woodward. Now the question is that, as you stated, what happens after it goes past the Institute of Art and all that other stuff and get into 8 Mile? Would the Woodward line pick up, and would the vehicles pick up from there? That is the question. But you're right. They are talking about, or it was talked about, that the only vehicle or mode of transportation would be the Q line. All others, vehicles, the Woodward line, everything else would be removed.
Well, that doesn't make any sense. The first thought would be, what about the other people beyond the boulevard? I mean, somebody's not thinking here. Anyway.
Oh, no. They're thinking. They're thinking. They're just not thinking about us.
Oh,
they're thinking. Right. They're not thinking about us. And see, the fact is that you're correct. As I stated earlier, that line is really not made up to service the people in the area. As Babise has stated, it stops at a certain place and doesn't go beyond. Well, you got folks that's living in that area, and then from there on, that's where your community really starts. So
right.
they're thinking, but they're just not thinking about us.
Yeah, I think what it is too. They didn't want to interfere with Highland Park. They didn't want to go through Highland Park, and that's probably why they stopped at the boulevard. There would be a whole new entity there.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I would suspect that since it ends, or at least the station for repair ends just beyond the boulevard, that if they did extend it, it probably wouldn't pick up any passengers till they got to 8 Mile, because they're certainly, or Palmer Park at least, McNichols area, they're certainly not going to stop in Highland Park until they take that as well.
Well, you also have to consider too is that the turnaround is at the state fairgrounds. So then what happens to all that? Where do they stop and where do they pick up at? And
right.
you look at everything that's going on and how they're stopping here and picking up here, and it's like, like I always say, when do we become inclusive? When do we become inclusive?
Well, this alone should let people know where we stand with this Q line. Anyway, have a good morning. Talk to you another time.
Thank you very. I want to say something else, and I hate Vera got off, but the other thing I want to say is, when you talk about connecting communities, and it was a very good point, because Highland Park is part of the, that line there. So are they? I mean, Vera brings up a good point. Are they doing this on purpose to cut off Highland Park? But the objective is to connect communities and cities together. So again, someone is not thinking about how do we make sure that we are connected. So that's just
there has been a little conversation floating around about dissolving Highland Park.
Yeah, I heard that also.
Right.
Yeah.
And there will be no more Highland Park, just all Detroit. Did you hear that?
Yeah. No, I haven't. But, it doesn't surprise me, because when you think about gentrification and generally, I know from a class I had with, and then we'll go to the phone lines with Carl Levin when he was teaching at University of Detroit, and he was talking about city development and how they have like a 30-year plan. Well, we don't even know what's going to happen in the next 6 months, but they're thinking so far ahead.
Yes.
So I could see Highland Park being a part of that as well, because they thought that far ahead. They just haven't figured out how can they do it and undermine.
How to destroy him.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it. That's the word. Destroy Highland Park. That's what they want to do. It appears.
There's a lot of historic homes in Highland Park as well. There's a lot of history in Highland Park.
Yeah, yes it is.
Hello, caller. You're on the air. Would you share your name and how you're viewing us, please?
Yeah, my name is Tyrone. How you doing this morning?
Great.
Wonderful. Thank you for
Fine.
calling.
I'm watching you on 33. I
Okay.
just wanted I think the gentleman there is running for city council, I believe.
Yes,
And
second
my
district.
thing is, when you talking to different people I know about the upcoming elections in the future, a lot of people is confused due to the fact that a lot of people feel that they don't have no power. They feel that when the governor came down and did his dirt with the bankruptcy situation, you don't have no. A lot of people feel they don't have no more power. A lot of people are still as upset due to the fact that this bad city council we had in the past in there put the consent agreement with the Bel Air in there, which the city could have took care of Bel Air themselves. And you know, you don't have but 2 months of warm weather here. And when why would you put Bel Air in there? They put Bel Air in there to do exactly what's going on today. My input in everybody is knowing that the city has to be remodeled and different things like that. We understand that. But my thing that gets me right quick is that when white folks moved out of the city 65 and 70 years ago, now that they coming back, they're not coming back just to live next door to you. So people just wondering about that.
Yeah.
All this going on downtown, that's fine, but the people that's coming back, they're not coming back to live next to you. When they moved from the west side, from Warren and 96, they moved to Livonia. The east side, they moved to Warren. They're not coming back to this city to mingle with you. So what's your impact on that, Guest? Thank you.
Oh, thank you for calling in. You have a good point there. But I personally believe that we do have power. We're just not using it as efficiently as we could and as we should. The power, in my opinion, that we have is our vote and our money. But we have to use our money with dollars and cents, SENSE.
You know, Tyrone brings up a good point, and I think what he's directing is this financial review board that everything has to go through. And Tyrone, you're correct. That has taken a lot of power from them. But see, the fact is that when you're talking about districts, then the power is in the districts. The power is in the communities. And see, there's other ways. You don't necessarily see that financial review board is the overall financial responsibility for the overall city. But see, there's other ways you can go about as far as tackling and building up the communities. You got grants. You got a lot of organizations that will fund different community projects and development out there. So I look at that as saying, yes, that financial review board is there, but see, the power of city council is not taken away if they know how to utilize it and utilize it properly. Then, you know, this Mayor Duggan is talking about, I think he said, what, in two years or something, that the financial review board is supposed to be gone because they're doing such a great job and building everything up. So if the financial review board is gone, then that means that this new council, which I plan to be on, will have its power back. And now we can go forward. And it's up to folks like you, Tyrone, to make sure that we get the right people in each one of the districts, as well as at large, as well as the clerk, as well as the mayor, to make sure that our power, as Ms. Broden has stated, is returned back to the people. So it's up to you. So, I mean, you know, we can talk about, you know, what our plans is, but we can't do it without you. It's a collective effort. So I appreciate that comment. I mean, you're on point, but it's not totally taken away.
Right.
Hello, caller. We're on the air. Yes, we are on the air.
It's Monday.
Let's try this again. Welcome to the program. Would you give us your name and how you're viewing us, please?
Good morning. This is Slice watching you on cable Comcast 91.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. And you're absolutely right, McAllister. We definitely need you and more like you in position to empower the community, to give them the knowledge and the encouragement to work together to build and to gain back the power that so many believe has been taken away.
Thank you.
I also want to let your audience know that there's a water discussion tomorrow at 9 a.m. at the Coleman Young Municipal Center at the council table. And so until our voices are strongly heard with people in place to, move and make a movement for changes, then we will not get those changes done. So for those who really care, share the news, and if you can, show up and be a voice to fight against the injustices that's going on with our water issue. And that's tomorrow at 9 a.m. at the Coleman Young Municipal Center. Thank you for taking my call. Love you all.
Thank you so much. Love you more.
Thank you. That's in the council of the whole. Where she going?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, it will be on the 13th floor tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. And I would hope that the city council would be concerned about the water affordability plan. And for those who understand what is going on, it would be good to have a good show of support. Another thing that I find interesting is how the announcement had been floating around since last year of the $750 per acre water bill is going to be put off on preachers. Then I hear conversation that it's going to be put off on anybody that's got an acre of land. So there definitely needs to be discussion about it, and why now? It seems to me that the mayor used that to get the preachers to come screaming down to him, and he'll say, "Oh no, not right now, not right now. I'm gonna wait till 2018."
You know, the other interesting thing that this meeting is going to be held on the 13th floor. But what office building is it going to be held? Is it going to be held in council, or is it going to be held in the auditorium? You know, because when they know that they're going to have a mass showing.
They moved to the auditorium.
They moved. They'll move to the council office where it's limited
and close
people out. See, that's the other thing, and you're absolutely correct. You know, I was talking to a gentleman, and he was sharing with me that how, you know, the mayor has bamboozled these preachers. They stand on the dais with him and hug him and embrace him, but then he's telling them, just like you stated, oh, no, not this year. Technically, what the words is, not now. Wait till I become mayor, then I'm going to get you. You vote for me now, then when I become mayor, then I'm going to get you.
Slam you.
Slam you, you know.
Another way to get some of the churches and preachers out of the city.
Yeah. I mean, most of them out of the city anyway. It's just
the preachers are. They got their collection plate in Detroit.
You know, they're hitting east. I mean, you know, to 8 Mile and 5 Points. But you know, that's going to be interesting as far as what room are they going to hold this in, especially when they know there's going to be a massive turnout of people.
Right,
you know, and that, to me, that disenfranchises folks because it limits your voice and it limits your power. As Vera was talking about, you know, how we are being taken away and taken granted of.
Right.
You know.
I'd like to ask our guests to share the zones or the area or the boundaries of the District 2 which you're running for, and any contact information as well.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. District 2 is actually 14 miles. It's from 8 Mile down to a little bit past Finkel, which is 4.4 miles. Then it goes from Southfield down to John R., which is 8.8 miles. And a lot of times I tell folks is the zip codes that it services is 48203, 48221, 48227, 48235, and 48238. And you know, one of the things that I wanted to do for folks is to make sure that they have a place where they can come and have access to. So I have my campaign office, which would be the District 2 office, is at 11,000 West McNichols at Myers, Suite 117 and 118. And that's for folks to come in and express their their issues, their views, their concerns, and have them taken care of, as opposed to them going downtown, spending their time. Hopefully they don't receive a $45 ticket. Then they go in, and then when they do talk, they have 2 to 3 minutes to express their concerns, and then they really don't get a response, and then they have to drive and spend their gas and come back.
Right.
So my objective is, I believe that we are supposed to be making it more convenient as opposed to inconvenient for people. So please, my website is www.McAllister, that's McCalister, district2.com. www.McAllisterdistrict2.com. So, you can always contact me at area code 313-434-4806. So I plan to be accessible, and I'm putting out as much information as far as I can as how you can reach me. And I had some good conversations with some folks over the weekends, and they have some concerns. So please, as we stated, we have to, I can't do this by myself. It is up to the listeners, to the viewers, to make sure that we put in the right folks, not only at the local level, but at our state as well as our federal levels. Our judges, that's another important that a lot of times the folks overlook. So we have to make sure that we have people in key areas to make sure that our rights are upheld.
You're absolutely right about that. Well, first of all, the office is in what I call the gray building.
Yes.
Not difficult to find at all, ample parking. And the other thing is, I know you plan to be accessible, but those who are tuned in need to know that you are already accessible.
I try to be.
And you, I know that when I attend the various meetings in the community, you are there. And those who need to ask some question of you,
yes,
you make yourself available to talk to them after the meetings take place. And that's an example of what they can look forward to.
Yes, ma'am. And the thing is that I ran in 2013. I ran at large, and now I'm running in the district because a lot of folks ask me, not to run at large, but to run for the district. And therefore, I've been engaged with the communities and associations since 2013. And I have not stopped. So the folks in a lot of folks in District 2 know me. We've talked. They know how to get in contact with me, and they know that I'm going to be there at their meetings. Now, I will say, in June and July, you may not see me at the meetings, but you're going to see me on your blocks, because I'm going to be out there walking and talking and hearing folks person to person as much as I possibly can.
Door to door.
Yes, ma'am.
That's an excellent plan. And over in that district, the people find that you have been responsive to the concerns they have when they have, contacted.
Yes, ma'am.
Contacted you and asked that.
Okay, we got a caller.
Oh, sure.
Hello, caller. You're on the air. Would you share your name and how you're viewing us, please? You're on the air.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I just want you to know that the TV went totally blank, so many of us might not have heard all the information that Mr. McAllister had told us, so make sure that we at least get his website and phone numbers for those who want to support and get those questions answered that he just gave us regarding where his district is. The TV went blank, so I don't know how many other households.
Okay.
Television went blank, and it blocked out the information that many may want to know about where this gentleman's district is and how to contact him to support him as well.
Okay.
Thank you for taking my call.
Thank you for
so
letting
much.
us know.
Well, them rascals working all the time, ain't they?
Hey, baby. That's what happens when people are scared,
Yes, but I'll repeat it. My campaign office, which will be the district office, is at 11,000 West McNichols, which is at Myers, Suite 117 and 118. My website is www.McAllister, that's McAllister, district2.com. That's www.McAllisterdistrict2.com. And my telephone number is area code 313-434-4806. 4806. So there's several ways that you can contact me. Come on up and join me, sit down and talk with me, and let's go and take District 2 back, and then start there and just work and take the whole city back.
Mm-hmm. And you know, I find it really interesting that there must be some kind of fear in what you bring to the table, because we got 1 million people in the race. I mean, this is crazy.
Yeah.
You got one person whose law license has been suspended. It seems like forever. You got another person in the race who goes outside naked and kills a Mercedes Benz, and then you have a woman in the race who just got fired, and I understand that she's been fired from other jobs as well. So it's let us see if we can divide up the votes to make it more difficult for Roy McAllister to get elected,
Well,
the best candidate for District 2.
You know, I say that, folks, that's why we have to do our homework. And I always say, what has a person done in the past? What are they doing now? As well, I mean, they'll tell you what they're going to do in the future, what they want to do. But a lot of that is what have they done in the past and what are they doing now? And I will stack my record up against any of the other candidates that are running in District 2, and for that measure, a lot of them that's running in other elections. I will stack my record up, my background up against any of them. And if they can outshine me, then maybe the voters need to vote for them. But I don't think very few will find that they will outstack me.
Well, see, I don't want to get what somebody else deserves, and I want us all to get the best.
Yeah.
And you laid your life on the line when you were in the military, and you did what, 2?
I did 3 years in Iraq. Was involved in 4 explosions.
Oh, God.
And, God brought me back. And, I bring that. And plus the fact is, being the regional commander of the northern province of Iraq, I bring also to the table the experience of working with a $200 million budget. As well as, I was the former commanding officer of Detroit Homicide Section. And, that right there, when you have people that have been subjected to a loved one taking, you cannot shy away or avoid those type of people because they want answers. And it's the same thing with that. And I think that's more critical when you have to tell someone about their loved one and where their case is. I mean, you can't shy away from them. You can't avoid them. You must be there to stand up. And that's the same type of character I bring to the council table, listening to people and being there for them. Whether it's favorable or unfavorable, it's the fact to be there to stand up there and listen to what their concerns are.
Yeah, I was just going to say, in regard to that one of the things you said, in particular, the homework, I've always emphasized that track record. And I think it's incumbent upon people not to recycle politicians, not to have has-beens, washed-ups, or people who are new in the game who don't know the game. It's just unfortunate. And we can't go by name recognition because most of those names have been associated or been tainted by the actions of those individuals. So they had their opportunity to shine, to represent the people, and if they've done something that has done other than that, then they should. All I'm saying is that Roy McAllister is your man. And I want to also emphasize that one of the things I didn't like districts, I'll be honest, but one thing I do like about it is that you can hold that particular person accountable.
That's right.
Roy McAllister is one of those individuals you can hold accountable. And that means that we're supposed to be accountable too as the electorate. That's the biggest problem. As the electorate, you are accountable for what happens in your district. And you can't shy away from it because as Theo has said to me, and I swear I've said this a number of times, whether you vote or not, you still will be affected by the politics. So you don't have any choice but to become engaged in that.
That's right.
And I tell people, a lot of people, I expect to be held accountable. A lot of people that's running do not expect that. And that's because, one, they don't respect or fear the constituents that they work for, who is actually their bosses. So I expect to be, just like when you go on the job, there are certain things you expect to be held accountable for. I expect to be held accountable for by the people in District 2.
Now, I want to talk about veterans.
Yes, ma'am.
Have you had an opportunity to meet Douglas Marble?
Yes. Oh, yes, yes, yes.
Now, Douglas Marble has made it his vocation
Yes.
because he saw that when he worked for the Veterans Administration, that our people in particular were not being given all of the information that they should have.
Yes, ma'am.
So that they could get all of the benefits that are provided
Yes,
for
ma'am.
them. Is there some aspect of your office as city council member that you would address veterans or?
Oh, yes, because in fact, there's a lot of veterans that I run into now,
Okay.
and if I can't answer their question, I got Douglas Marble's telephone number in my phone, and I always refer them to them, and they call me back and they say I got in contact with him, he helped me out a lot. Thank you so very much. So yeah, that you see that district office is for everybody. You know, it's for veterans, it's for returning citizens. I even have it so if somebody want to have an event, because you know people want to charge an arm and a leg for an event. I'm also, because we have a conference room downstairs, I'm also having it available for the people in District 2 if they want to have an event, you know, or a meeting themselves. So you know, the objective is to be versatile and to be accessible and to have it be convenient for the people. That's the overall thing. And if I can do that, then we've accomplished some things.
Absolutely. And your number again?
It's area code 313-434-4806, and that website is www.mcallisterdistrict2.com.
We got another caller. A couple of callers, as a matter of fact. Okay. Hello, caller. You're on the air. Would you share your name and how you're viewing us, please?
This is Lasso, Sharon, watching on TV 91. I just wanted to ask the candidate, would you be one of the councils or could encourage the rest of the councils to challenge our mayor, Duggan, if he does get back in, which we know he won't? But we need to declare, he needed to declare the executive order left in place by the emergency manager void and return the city of Detroit back to the charter-based ordinance and ask that the State Financial Review Commissioner go doormat, even though the city has had 3 straight years of a balanced budget, which is a prerequisite for dormancy under PA 436, and to sue Jones Day, Kevin Orr, for a $500 million pension miscalculation, even though he discovered this error at least 3 years ago. So there's so many other things. Taking position on the legalities of the city's bankruptcy, and the fact that to sue these banks that caused the foreclosure and caused the city with so much blight, dismantling people from being homeowners. And the list goes on things that the mayor is not doing, and he's supposed to stabilize residential, but 3,500 residents left. And then a year before that, another 3,500 left, which he said he was going to have the ability to stop the flight from the city. So there's so many other things that's not being done to take back the power for the people and for our council that's sitting at the table as well. So I'm just wondering if you could get the other council people to challenge things that's not being done that could be done to bring back power and to hold those responsible for the looting of this city. Thank you for taking my call.
That's a large question.
That is, but let me say this. you know, I will challenge it, but again, it is up to the viewers and the listeners to make sure that the folks in the other 8 positions are like-minded. Because I'm telling you, this mayor is trying to stack the deck that's going to favor him. Now, I can be out there fighting and hollering and screaming and saying this and that and the other, but if there are at least 6 others that are on his side, then we're not going to get anywhere. And then let me say something about this, and I just continue to say this. I don't think we were in a financial emergency
No.
status.
You're right.
I'm going to tell you why. Because if you notice, everybody that Kevin Orr, as Ms. Broden says with a Y, everybody that he brought in started making at least $200-some thousand. Now, a city that's broke, a city that's broke, how can you allow that type of pay raise or pays? Then, as you just stated, you know, our books has been balanced for the last 3 years. How long have we been out of this? For the last 3 years. So why all of a sudden our books are balanced? It's not so much of the Financial Review Board. You know, that money has always been there. And our prime example is, you know, I always use that. I'm retired fire. The Fire and Police Fund was 96.4% funded. The general fund was 72% funded. And then anything that's under 70% is considered unfunded. MERS, which is the states, was 49% funded. So how can a inferior funding take over a superior? I can't understand that. And why are all these dollars are in place? You know, these are the things that we have to look at, and that things that I've seen personally myself. To sit up here and say that all of a sudden we're in the red. I mean we're in the black, or whatever you want to call it. You know, all this money now is just flowing out. But the money was never gone. I think they just, you know, it's like they said, they wanted us to pay for a mortgage. If your home is if you owe a 30-year mortgage, then you all of a sudden have to pay that mortgage. Oh yeah, you're going to be financially in dire straits. But if the mortgage was extended out for 15 to 30 years, it's the same thing with our financial situation.
Right.
So you know, and that's something I'm going to look into, because I know in 2009, I called for a forensic audit.
Oh, yeah.
But they said it was too much money.
Oh, yes.
You know,
yes.
Now, was it too much money, or was it the fact that they didn't want to find certain things? So these are the things that the city council should have been hollering and screaming for. So to say, you know, you said a lot, but to say that it is up to folks, the viewers and the listeners, to make sure that those other 8 positions are like-minded.
Absolutely. And, you know, they even undervalued the Institute of Art.
Yes. Yes.
Really, really undervalued it severely.
Yeah.
Okay, another caller? Okay.
Hello, caller. You're on the air. Would you share your name and how you're viewing us, please?
Yes. This is Mr. McCobb. Listen, everybody, a happy and safe holiday.
Oh, I thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And Ward McCaster will be the next city councilman.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Everybody that's listening, vote smart, vote McCaster.
That's right. Everybody
Thank you.
listening, vote
Thank you.
smart for Roy McAllister. Thank you, McLeod. That's very
Thank you,
good.
Ms. McLeod. And that goes
very
also
good.
not only in District 2, as I say, that goes in all the other 6 districts, as well as the 2 at large. So we think smart and research and find out what these people have done.
Absolutely. You know, the city council has subpoena power. What do you
Yes.
think
Yes.
about that?
Yeah, you know, I just cringed, because there was one council member that stated that they had called a particular individual to come before council, and that individual just continued not to come before council. And I'm thinking, like, in the charter, the city council has subpoena power.
That's right.
I'm gonna ask you twice, and depending on the situation, I may not ask you twice because you're gonna have a subpoena coming, and if you violate the subpoena, then let you think about it in jail.
Yeah, amen.
You know, that's my position.
Oh, okay.
Hello, caller. You're on the air. Would you share your name and how you're viewing us, please?
Good morning and happy holidays to you and your guests.
Happy holidays to you.
Good morning. Your name?
Okay, and
Your
I'm
name?
enjoying the show.
What's your name?
So I just want to say one thing. Theo, put your hands down so we can see your lovely face.
Oh, Lord.
Happy holidays.
A follow-up question? Oh, yeah, he did. Okay, here's the next caller, though. Hello, caller. You're on the air. Would you share your name and how you're viewing us, please?
Hey, good morning. My name is Carl, and Comcast Cable.
Thanks for calling.
Good morning, Carl.
Hey, I was just calling in to remind Theo, we had a conversation about 3 years ago about the transportation fund. Do you remember?
Vaguely. Go ahead.
About the City of Detroit transportation and for the low income. And we discussed it. I told you they was going to steal the money.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. And you told me that, you said, you better shut up, you got a contract. And we laughed about it. They done stole the money.
Well, not quite. The toy train has been built with private investors.
Oh, no, we're not talking about the Q line.
What are you talking about?
We talk the transportation for the low income.
Oh, DDOT.
Detroiters, yes.
DDOT.
Remember,
right.
It was for Detroit, Highland Park, and Hamtramck residents.
Yes.
That federal money.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, 3 years ago, I could tell you they gonna steal the money.
Yeah.
And they done stole the money now.
Yeah.
I just wanted to. I'm bringing it out now.
Yeah. Right.
Because they done stole the money from me. So I'm calling them out now.
Same thing with the repair, home repair.
Oh, but this one was more dirty. We'll talk about it later, but I'm just showing them that we knew what they was going to do, and they done did it.
Yeah.
Well, you know, one thing, Carl,
Thank you.
I want to say also is DOT has been such disenfranchised as well. As far as they have the largest ridership in Wayne County, but their pay levels as compared to SMART and everywhere else is so much less.
Right.
You know, and they're cutting out lines, whereas where DOT used to go beyond Wayne County, they've cut their lines where they can come in. Again, this is how we are disenfranchised, and we're looked at. And one thing I want to say, and I know we have some other callers, is, you know, we haven't hit on, but we've talked about the medical marijuana dispensaries. But this big issue that gets me is how they're pushing up in Lansing to pass recreational marijuana when our schools are failing, when we have issues as far as blight in the city of Detroit because they don't want to help Detroit. But there are so many issues. And then when we look at, especially with our education, the way it's going, and the fact that depending on who you talk to, Detroit and the state of Michigan is either number 2 or number 3 as far as technology goes. And they talk about money and dollars. You know, why aren't they pushing something to expand that initiative? You know, but they want to sit up here and they want to expand and they push for something for recreational marijuana, which is going to cause people to be, again, disenfranchised, because when you talk about jobs, the jobs is not going to change, because if you drop dirty, you know, they're not going to look at it. And then the fact is that it might be legal in Michigan, but federally it's still illegal. So these are the things that we have to look at also, as far as where are their values at? Where are the values? And I'm pretty sure it's going to come out this week when they go up to Mackinac.
You know, it's interesting, and then we'll go to the caller, that if you do that, number one, I'm thinking they're thinking about revenue and money. So it's not about us at all. It's about what can we do to regulate this industry and get money. The second thing is that, as you indicated, an employer is not going to hire you if your urine is not
Exactly.
clear. So
Yes, sir.
automatically you disenfranchise the people.
Yes,
so it's a money grab as well as disenfranchising people. So you can create even a larger impoverished class
Yes,
of
sir.
people.
Yes, sir.
Voter suppression. Don't forget that.
Yes. Yes.
Voter suppression. Yeah. Go ahead.
Hello, caller. You're on the air. Would you share your name and how you're viewing us, please? You're on the air, caller.
Good morning.
Yes.
Good morning.
Your name, please?
My name is Mia.
Thanks for
I'm watching you on TV 33.
Thank you.
Even though I'm in the 5th district, I would still say to my friends and family in the 2nd district to vote for Mr. McAllister.
Thank
I'd
you,
also
ma'am.
like to input one thing. I'm understanding that Ms. Sheffield has acquired a grant for the home repairs. I believe it's between $3 or $5 million. And I wanted to know if Mr. McAllister, when he gets in office, would he push for that in his district? Because I feel that that grant money that was taken from us by Livonia Mike should be across and citywide. We have needs in all areas in the outlying part of the city. And with the 5th district being, quote unquote, the district of choice, I'm not happy with that. Thank you.
Thank you for that,
Great.
Ms. Nair. Yes, I think I stated on that earlier when they was talking. A gentleman stated that how our power was taken, and that's one of the things I talked about was we can go around that financial review board by going after grants and after organizations that's going to provide money, and I agree with that. But the other thing too is that I'm upset about as far as the council go is that we receive $6 million. For block and home repair from the federal government. Our illustrious mayor took $5.5 million of that and gave the rest of the city $500,000 for the whole city, as well as put a loan on it. And I haven't heard anybody from the council sit up there and jump on the table about how can you do that. So and I agree with you, Ms. Nia, that yes, I will do that. But see, the council is supposed to be the fiduciary overseers for the city of Detroit. And how you allowing all this money to just be misappropriately and undisclosedly placed, I just can't understand. So yes, ma'am, I will be, to answer your question, I will be pushing for that, not on that, but also be looking at where our dollars, when they come in, and where are they going.
Okay, we've got about 4 or 5 more minutes, but before we do, I would like to ask you to repeat that information again for anyone who may have tuned in late as far as contact information.
Yes, my campaign office, which will be your district office for District 2, is at 11,000 West McNichols at Myers, Suite 117, 118. My website is www.mcallisterdistrict2.com, and my telephone number is area code 313-434-4806. God, that was a fast hour. That was a fast hour.
Right.
And I was going to say, you mentioned 11,000 West McNichols, but the suite numbers as well?
Suite numbers is 117, 118. Thank you.
Now, I want you to talk about the Avenue of Fashion.
Oh.
And how it's being, it appears to me, it's being destroyed by the mayor of the city of Detroit.
Let me say this quick because we only have a few minutes. The medium which was put in prior to Mayor Duggan coming in was started the downfall of a number of the businesses. Then they came in with this model idea of a bike lane, which interferes with traffic. Now they're talking about bringing the Avenue of Fashion, Livernois, down to one lane. And me being an ex-police officer, I look at safety issues as well as everything else. And if you come down to one lane, and let's say August 5th, which is their jazz event, which is supposed to be cut off, but let's say that it's the streets is open, and they have another other events. If something happens, how can an emergency vehicle get down one lane? You got bike lanes, you got one lanes, and then when you're talking about bike lanes, now you're talking about people getting out of their vehicles. Now they're being exposed to traffic where they can get hit.
How can a fire truck?
Exactly. You know, and then that fire truck is another thing. We have a fire truck on Curtis and Livernois that's closed down. Those people in those areas are concerned about if their house catch on fire. Then it either it's coming from John R. or from 6 Mile to travel over there to put that fire out. And see, these are the things that the District 2 representatives should have been looking at. And that's when I talk about being proactive as opposed to reactive. If something happens, now you're reactive. But if you're looking at it and you're seeing what's going on, you're proactive. Because you're going to say, no, we can't have this.
Right.
So.
And I would add, too, I like what you just said, because if their base of experience is very limited, then they don't have a vision at all anyway.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you. You're exactly correct. Yes, sir.
Oh, wow.
And, you know, I mean, there's so much. I mean, that's a whole, Livernois as a Avenue of Fashion is a whole new topic we could talk about.
I know.
Yeah.
And then parking meters.
And, you know, with parking meters, okay, the parking meters are there. But then how come the revenue can't come back to the community or to the businesses? Why does it have to go back to the general fund?
Or to the state.
Or to the state, yeah.
County, you know. Well, we are at the end of this segment of this Memorial Day. And what? Yes, I am. And we want to wish everyone a blessed Memorial Day. And as I always say, it's not necessary for you to know everything. What is necessary is for you to know how to find what you need when you need it. We at Hood Research seek as much information as we can to share to help us all make better informed decisions.
If you want to be nothing, do nothing. But the only problem with doing nothing is you never know when you're finished. And I want to quote Plato real quick because this is a voting issue. He says, the price of apathy towards public affairs is to be ruled by evil men.
We got a slew of them. Thank you for tuning in. Tune in again next week. And thank you, Roy McAllister,
Thank
for
you so
joining
much.
us this morning.
Thank you so much.